And we are live.
Live. Beautiful.
All right. We got anybody in the chat? I mean, got to give it a second. There's 0 people right now. But someone's going to watch this later, and they're going to see our behind the scenes a little bit, what we, do setting up. Hudson is at Fordham University on campus in the Bronx. I am in New Jersey at my own house, in my little studio closet that I built. And we are going to talk Nets. You guessed it.
We got notifications in the squad. There we go. We got Luis Mena. We got Connor. I love it. I love the notification, people. It makes sure we have good content before we go live, because I know there's people that watch this show after the fact and they're like, why are they not talking for the first minute and a half of the recording? And it's because we're setting up.
I don't understand why people I don't understand why people do that, because we literally have the chat and the chat pops up when you come. Say you're not here now and you come back and you watch this tomorrow, they can see the chat, the live feed. I think it was only one dumbass that was like, show takes too long to start. My bad. I didn't know I had to send it live and be like, and now.
All right. And this is good time now. Everybody can get their questions in there for later.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be questions
to talk about this episode.
I was reaching for stuff to talk about. I even threw in there, I'm like, Cam Thomas signs with Adidas.
Yeah.
How much can we talk about that?
Cam Thomas can get his own shoe now.
I actually do have some takes on that. I do have some thoughts on Cam Thomas, his shoe deal. I don't even have all my lights on.
See, Cam Thomas is 6'5" now too.
He grew
since the combine. I don't know. He's only 19. I like to think that I'm still growing. Maybe Cam Thomas will be 6'8" by the time he stops growing. We could have the tallest point guard in the league.
I'm not sure how that shit
what's his name?
works.
D'Lo, I think, was 6'8" as well.
You're supposed to stop growing at 18 or 19, right? I think. I don't know. I couldn't tell you when I stopped growing. I feel like I've been the same size since I was 15 or 16. Maybe weight. My weight has gone up and down. I've been 6'1" for a minute, I feel. All right, we're about to cue this up. I just got to set up my GarageBand to record my audio, because what you're watching is Hudson and I live record the podcast. We used to do this over Zoom when we first started talking Nets. We'd record the podcast, we'd record the Zoom video, then I'd go and edit the Zoom video and upload it to YouTube. But those days, I'm thankful for, are no more. This is a lot easier. And I'll let you guys.
We got Connor in the chat trying to trigger me.
What do you say?
Talking about Penn State's better than Maryland. I don't know who won last year.
Oh, here we go. The Nitty Lions versus the Terrapins. They play Saturday.
Yeah.
In Happy Valley or?
No, they don't even play soon. Maryland's playing Howard. I don't know who Penn State's playing. I forgot. I was at the game last weekend. It was fun.
You were at the Maryland game last weekend?
Yeah. Live sports. That shit's crazy. I can't believe it's back.
I mean, that was the first Maryland game with fans in attendance since
2019.
Yeah, it's always good to be in that vibe. It's always good to be in that type of energy. Tonight, the NFL is back. You'll see Raymond James Stadium with more people than have been in it since 2019. Super Bowl champs defending their title, getting their rings, but they got to face, wait for it. How about the Cowboys?
We get to watch Dak have to, put the team on his back today. That's what I'm thinking is going to have to happen. Only chance they have. Dak is going to have to throw for 6 touchdowns against Devin White and the Bucs defense.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I am excited. It don't matter. It kind of sucks that my team has to play the defending champions on open night. It's kind of a big
That's
game.
What you get for being America's team.
Oh, man. America's team to laugh at. All right. I am recording in GarageBand, and we have been live now for 5 minutes, so it is time to start. And I will count us in in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Talking Nets, episode 1, 2, 3. Keith McPherson and Hudson Flynn joining you on Thursday afternoon as the NFL is about to kick off tonight, but you don't care about the NFL. Well, maybe you do, but you're here for Talking Nets. You care about your Brooklyn Nets. There's not too much going on in the Nets world, but since we're recording once a week, things happen right after we record, and we'll go back and we'll talk about them. We'll talk about DeAndre Jordan. We'll talk about LaMarcus Aldridge. We'll talk about I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't actually not recording that, so that's gonna have to get redone. You guys get some behind the scenes look at my mistake. Tech difficulties. One thing about working in tech, expect difficulties. So from the top, again, this time's for real. Talking Nets, episode 1, 2, 3. Keith McPherson and Hudson Flynn joining you on Thursday, September 9th, as the NFL gets ready to kick off. And since the NFL is back, you know that basketball season is right around the corner. And we're not going to talk about the Bucks. We're not going to talk about the Cowboys. We're going to talk about your Brooklyn Nets. Even though there's not that much to talk about with the Nets, we're going to reach for things, and we're going to reach back for things, the things we missed. We record on Wednesday or Thursday. I think last week we recorded on Thursday. The news broke Friday and over the weekend, and then some news broke today. So we'll catch you guys up. We'll talk about our Nets, and we'll make this episode real quick. Talking Nets. Let's get it. And that's the first part. The intro plays on the pod. What's up, y'all, in the chat? NBA season starts October 21st, I think. I see Jared in the chat. What up? All right, here we go. Starting the episode. Yes, sir. Welcome back to Talking Nets, episode 123. Keith McPherson and Hudson Flynn rocking the mics remotely from New Jersey and the Bronx. Looking for anything to talk about Brooklyn Nets. When I woke up today, I'm not going to hold you. I took a shower. I put on my Dak jersey. I'm a Cowboys fan. How about them? I don't expect the Cowboys to win tonight, but I do expect a good game and some fun times because football is back. And the first tweet I put out this morning was football back, basketball soon. Now, I can't go to Jerry World. Well, I can, but I can't go to Jerry World with the ease that I can go to the Barclays Center. So get me back to basketball. Get me back to the Barclays Center. We're going to talk Nets, and we're going to catch y'all up. Hudson Flynn, can you say hello to the people?
Hello to the people. Man, before me talking about how busy everything is, and the first thing that I thought was, that's awesome. That's a great thing. Last weekend, I was talking to the people in the chat before we started. I was down in College Park, Maryland. I watched Maryland absolutely beat. I was going to say destroy, but it was a pretty close game. The West Virginia Mountaineers in their opening game. Go Terps. And I'm just happy that sports are back. I really do. I feel like everything's coming together, moving in the right direction. I'm just so excited. And you know what it means when you see that college football is back, when you see the NFL is back, it's all building to the return of the NBA. And that's what we're talking about here today. But not too much to talk about. Last week we had some news break, but other than that, it feels like the calm before the storm. And, you know, it's going to be a great storm. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe the greatest season in Brooklyn Nets basketball history. It should be the greatest.
Yeah, man. I've been talking.
But we've had some developments. We've had some big trades. I'm excited.
I've been talking that talk, bro. And I don't know if your connection is good or not, but you're cutting out a little bit. Didn't mean to talk over you, but it sounded like you was done. But either way, I've been talking that talk, bro. We know how close we were to winning the championship last year. We know how close we were to ending the season of the eventual champ. So why hide from it? Why shy away? And then when Sean Marks puts together the roster that we have, nobody is thinking that the Nets aren't the favorites. Nobody's thinking that the Nets don't have a shot to win the championship unless they're goofies, unless they're haters, unless they're just looking for any reason to go against. the Nets are the favorites in the East for sure. They should be the favorites in the entire NBA unless you're a LeBron sexual and you just love the Lakers. And we're ready for the season to start so we can actually go on this 82 game ride back into what, we're used to watching in the NBA and seeing the Nets at full strength, at full health, with some new additions, with some improvements, we hope, get this done. On the episode today, we have one voicemail, and I actually lost my speaker, so I got to play it from my phone. We have people in the chat, which I actually need to send a tweet out right now. Since Talking Nets Twitter is suspended, I have to tweet this out from my account, which I would say my account is probably 80 to 90% Yankee fans that follow me, which is cool. Love the Yankee universe. Trying to build up the Nets world. Let me take a picture real quick. This episode is not going to be like our traditional episodes because there's there's not a ton to talk about. And we don't have a ton to talk about. So we're going to make it quick, but got to keep the episodes going every week. It's a 2-man operation. Hudson is back at school. I am consistently watching the Yankees lose and getting ready to watch the Cowboys lose. And the Nets are my only hope. The Nets are the only team that I root for that I think can win a championship this year or even in the next years to come. So thank God for the Nets and Talking Nets. I wish Twitter support would give us Talking Nets back as far as the account. But Hudson Flynn, you got any other thoughts before we get into the couple things we got and the topics we have and the questions from the chat and the one voicemail?
Nah, man, let's get it going. Make it quick.
How's your connection, bro? I know that Fordham internet's got to be solid because you kids are up there taking digital classes and everything else. You coming in a little shaky.
Am I cutting out? Am I cutting out?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me disconnect, reconnect.
Shaky.
1 sec.
You got it. You got it. You got it. I'll hold it down till you return. So the podcast is recording live, and you guys are watching live on YouTube. We'll wait for Hudson to come back, but I'll hit up the chat. So in the chat, I can do things like bloop. UK Nets fan says, you follow any UK sports, Keith? I can't say I do. And I can't say that that's by choice or by not wanting to or not appreciating them. And Hudson's back. But I do love the UK from the one time I went over there. I proposed to my wife in London right before the London series in 2019 when the Yankees played the Red Sox. First time in London, first time in the UK. Had a great time, loved it. Looking forward to go back. But, we got this COVID-19, 2021 into 2022. I don't know when exactly I'm going to be able to go overseas. But shout out to UK Nets fans for pulling up. I watched you guys' show. And it's the Nets world, baby, global game. All right, Hudson, you're coming in. I see you. You're a little blurry, but I think you're coming in better now.
I mean, my audio is going to be clean on the podcast. So okay, fuck. Cool. Yeah, this shit ain't working. What the hell?
No, yeah, you're coming in I think now you're coming in a little delayed. It's just a little choppy. Were you trying to use your hotspot or something? See, that's the thing with the streaming.
Nah, I'm on Fordham Wi-Fi. It just got fucked up with the storm. Give me a sec.
That's what it is. Storm ruined everything, bros. I got people coming in my house doing work, water damage. It is what it is. But all right, let's get into some of these topics. Let's get into some of the discussion. Today, you guys saw Jahlil Okafor was waived, and I saw an article from someone about the impact. I got to find this article because I was literally laughing wait, maybe I'm not reading this right. But Jahlil Okafor.
Right, how are we doing now? Good? Any better?
I think you sound good. I think you're coming in better. Chat, how's Hudson sounding? How's Hudson sounding? I know he's not looking that great. He's looking kind of blurry. But how is he sounding? Good.
As long as y'all can hear me, that's all that matters.
Good. All right. Well, either way, you guys saw Jahlil Okafor was waived by the Brooklyn Nets, but that shouldn't have came as a surprise to anyone. This is his second stint with the Nets. You guys may or may not remember 2017 when he came over here. I'm a Duke fan. So obviously I know about Jahlil Okafor. And when he came to the Nets, I don't know, I was kind of excited for him. It was his second or third year in the league. And we had D'Lo. And I was like, oh, man, we're going to have the number 2 and number 3 picks from the NBA draft on our team without drafting them. The potential for the Nets. What a different time. I was really thinking that D'Angelo Russell and Jahlil Okafor were going to do something in Brooklyn. But not much to say about that. That's as suspected. Like I said in the beginning of this, the Nets roster is literally loaded. That's what the YouTube says right here. And the title is that we need one more spot. Hudson, what are you thinking about Jahlil Okafor? Did you think the Nets were going to keep him because we need more bigs? We need younger bigs. We got no bigs.
No, they were never, ever in a million years going to keep him. Absolutely not. But I'm sure that it made, I don't know, because the Talking Nets Twitter continues to not be a thing. I'm sure it made a lot of people very upset because some people still seem to think that the Nets are, they need these bigs. That's you better play, position basketball, all this random old. We don't need him. We didn't really want him. He seemed to just be something to make the salaries work out in the trade. We cut him. He's gone. And we're freeing up roster spots for, additional signings to make sure everything's official. So that's really what's important now, is making sure the people that we want to be here are actually on the team.
Word. This is the last thing I'll say because I found the article, right? So essentially sports, probably why I shouldn't be reading these articles. Never heard of essentially sports. Maybe they're legit or not. But the article published 4 days ago says, will the Brooklyn Nets' new arrival, Jahlil Okafor, spell bad luck for them? What you mean bad luck? Like, he's not going to be on the team. So this guy, I'm not going to say his name. Clearly, he didn't know what he was talking about. And I'm not the type to come on the podcast or any type of video or live stream and talk about people not knowing what they're talking about, because I don't call people out as like casuals or, try and call people out for their knowledge or lack of knowledge, because I just think that's corny. I also don't act like I know everything, because I don't. But this guy writes, Okafor bad news for Brooklyn Nets, ? Brooklyn recently traded away their center DeAndre Jordan to Detroit. In return, they received Jahlil Okafor, and I don't know how to pronounce bro's name, but we're going to talk about him. Sekou Doumbouya. I bet Hudson knows how to pronounce his name.
He's French, but he's not like I think it's
he's Sekou, not like your
he's not white French, but I think his name is Sekou Doumbouya, something like that. I've heard them say his name. Like we're gonna have to get on that. Either we're gonna have to get on that. All right, here we go. UK Nets fans, help us out. Sekou Doumbouya. Okay, I got it right. Got it right. I'm proud of myself.
Sekou Doumbouya. I appreciate the pronunciation key in the chat. So back to the article. This guy says Jahlil Okafor has had a rough journey in the NBA. He came in as a big, strong man. Okay? He came in as a big, strong man, but seems to have taken a fall ever since. However, his performance has nothing to do with this team's performances. While not his fault, his record surely does not have a good look on his resume. So basically, this guy goes on to talk about how like Jahlil Okafor hasn't won in the NBA. Okafor has played for 5 teams. 4 of those teams received the number 1 pick following the draft. This means that their record for the season was really bad. So basically, this article was like, I think this guy never even heard of Jahlil Okafor, but did some research and had to like tie together an article about Jahlil and the Nets. And don't read this article. Jahlil Okafor is waived. And that brings us to our next topic of conversation. Everybody, give yourself a round of applause. We did it. DeAndre Jordan is no longer a Brooklyn Net. We were definitely worried. We were unsure at times. There was a lot of rumors about his friendships. There was a lot of rumors about, him not going anywhere in that contract and who was going to take him. And listen, in Marks we trust, and Marks we trust, and Marks we trust, and Marks we trust. He was able to do it, and it was a good trade. It was a good deal. Now, the Lakers have signed DeAndre Jordan, and we actually talked about that. I think on the last pod, we were like, if the Lakers want DeAndre Jordan, please go get him. Like, please take him. Hudson, what are your thoughts on the Lakers actually signing DeAndre Jordan? And while you speak on that, I'll go get the specifics of the trade.
I think it was hilarious. I really do. And the way that the Lakers are building their team and the way that the media covers the Lakers and DeAndre Jordan, I think is all feeding into each other in a really funny way. So that now if you look at any of the comments on any of the DeAndre Jordan Lakers posts, they're like, Lakers got too stacked. Look at how many all-stars the Lakers have. 500 combined all-star appearances. I think people are just forgetting or don't watch basketball, didn't watch the Nets, and honestly didn't even have to watch the Nets because he didn't play for the Nets really. How bad DeAndre Jordan is. It essentially means nothing for the Lakers. I hope he plays for them because it's going to make them a worse team. But all that matters is that Sean Marks is a wizard and he was able to get him off of our books and also collect some things in return. Obviously, we waive Okafor, but we get Sekou. And look, upside player, I believe only 20 years old. Some people, he was a 15th overall pick. Some people were touting him as, the next or when exciting bigs. Hasn't really been that for the Pistons, but we know the Pistons are a dumpster fire right now. So having him on the Nets, maybe he can develop, maybe he won't, who knows. But if there's any team to be on to develop as a young big, it's the Nets. So I'm really excited that DJ is gone, and I'm even more excited that Sean Marks was able to get something in return for him, even if it was the littlest thing, because we thought we were just going to have to cut our losses and maybe pay a couple of draft picks or pay a high price or just buy him out entirely to get him off this roster.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for us. So we recorded last Thursday. The podcast came out Friday. Then we wake up Saturday to this news. The Nets have acquired forward Sekou Doumbouya and center Jahlil Okafor from the Detroit Pistons in exchange for center DeAndre Jordan. Second round draft picks in 2022, 2024 via Washington, 2025 via Golden State, and 2027 and cash considerations. So there's a lot of moving parts there, but not really. It's just picks, other teams' picks, and a couple guys. But it didn't matter. We were saying, Sean Marks, get it done. Don't matter how it gets done. Just get it done. He's a waste of a roster spot. He didn't play. He got DMPs. He didn't play in the playoffs. He's not going to be a part of this future moving forward. Doesn't matter how many friends he has on the team. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm literally positive that he's a fun guy, locker room presence, whatever. But that's it. That's the end of the DeAndre Jordan saga in Brooklyn. I saw them do like a thank you DeAndre Jordan thing. And I know we've killed him on Talking Nets. I know we've definitely roasted his ass because there was times last year where we're just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, play defense, wake up, communicate. But that is done. Happy trails to DeAndre Jordan, and a little less happy trails to another Brooklyn Net or former Brooklyn Net, Alize Johnson. They still calling him Alize. They still calling the boy Alize. They ain't even learn his name. The Moet, the Alize. Alize Johnson gets waived, trying to make room on this team, and the Chicago Bulls pick him up. And I don't know, man. I'm not a Bulls fan. I once was as a child when I didn't know anything, and all they showed you was Michael Jordan. But the Bulls, they actually have a sneaky little squad. I think the Bulls might actually make some noise in the East. And I hope Alize Johnson gets a shot with them. Did you see any of, Alize, he's pretty active on Twitter and his Instagram. Like, I think he's in it now. Like, he got a little bit of spotlight in Brooklyn. People learned his name. And now he's all about it. Like, I saw him on Twitter asking, like, yo, who's got the Chicago Bulls?
Who's got the jersey
swap? And I'm like, hey, Alize, you're not that big yet, bro. They're not swapping your jersey as soon as the Woj bomb hits.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's good for him. I always liked him as a net. I was sad he didn't really get as much run as he maybe could have. And look, the Bulls always have a sneaky squad, and I can guarantee you that we will play the Bulls. The Nets will play the Bulls, and Alize will play and have just a hilarious rebounding performance, and everyone's going to get mad because the Nets don't have any centers, and Alize is going to get like 13 boards, and it's going to be hilarious because, I mean, I remember Keith and I's first game back in the Barclays Center was a game against the Bulls, and the Bulls were just dominating us for no reason for long stretches in that game. And it's going to be Alizé next year. He's going to get rebounds, and then Nets Twitter is going to literally explode when he picks up, all of these rebounding advantages on the Nets.
They got a big four over there. They got Vucevic, they got Levine, they got Lonzo Ball, and now they got Alizé Johnson.
Guaranteed Nets killer squad. Guaranteed Nets killer. They got Vucevic.
Damn, it's gonna be tough for us. Who else is over there? They got some hoopers. They got some hoopers. All right. So next, in catching up on what I think we're gonna switch up once training camp starts, and we'll do like a Monday record that'll come out Monday night into Tuesday, and then we'll do like a Thursday night record that'll come out Friday. So we have the week and weekend covered. Because this news broke Friday. LaMarcus Aldridge cleared after heart concerns and will be re-signing with your Brooklyn Nets. After retiring with heart concerns 5 months ago, 7-time All-Star forward LaMarcus Aldridge is returning to the Brooklyn Nets on a 1-year, $2.6 million deal. Awesome. He's 36. He's cleared. His health is the number one thing. That was such a scary thing to hear about his irregular heartbeats. Glad he's got that figured out. God is good. And he gets to return to the court. He gets to return to the NBA and finish what he started in Brooklyn. I love it because that's what I felt like. I felt like last year, I'm like, damn, especially with the way we went out. When we went out, you start thinking about who was on this team or who could have helped. And I definitely think LaMarcus Aldridge could have made an impact in the Bucks series. And the way he went out, I'm like, if that's how his career ends in a Brooklyn Nets jersey with only playing a handful of games, that sucks. And he will actually get to rewrite that script now. And I can't wait to see him get buckets. He gets some big man buckets. He's got that little mid-range jumper. He can play in the paint, and that's different than some of the other guys we have on the team. I don't care if he's 36. This is LaMarcus Aldridge. He's going to do LaMarcus Aldridge things still. We saw that he could still do that last year. So, Hudson, are you pumped? Are you excited? Or you don't really care about another washed former NBA All-Star?
As long as he has a functioning heart, as long as he's not in any medical danger, anything we get from him is a plus. I mean, we're not paying him a lot of money. We're not expecting him to have this major, starting every game, playing 40 minutes a game role. Anything we get from him is pretty much a bonus. And I'm excited to see what he can do because in limited action last year, he was a beast. He was a revelation at the center position for the Nets. And even if he can bring 75% of that energy, 50% of that energy, even if it takes him a lot of the season to ramp up, if he's ready by the playoffs, whatever we get from him is a bonus. And he definitely fills a slot on this Nets roster that is different from a lot of the other types of players that we have. So that's something that's really exciting for Nets fans to look forward to. But like I said last week, don't have any crazy expectations. Just be happy with what you get from him because at the end of the day, he is someone that retired midway through last season with a heart condition. So whatever we get from him is definitely a bonus, is definitely a positive, but don't expect him to be,
I didn't know if you were done talking, bro. It's like I hear you and then you cut out and then I don't know. I guess a little extra work for me on the podcast editing. I'm gonna have to tie that all together. But yeah, I wouldn't expect too much from anybody on this team. This team isn't built like it was built last year, where you did have to expect 50 points out of KD. You were expecting the big three to all go off. We're deep. We got some dogs. I can't wait for camp to be open. This roster spot, this last roster, I saw some people saying, what's his name? Bembry. I don't even know, dude. He's from Newark, though. He would be the last man out, but I can't say that either because I think he's a Kyrie guy. DeAndre Bembry is his name. He's a Kyrie guy. I can't say he'll be the last man out, but we need to clear up one more roster spot so that we can announce Paul Millsap, LaMarcus, so we can go into this training camp, which starts on the 28th, which that's right around the corner. That's less than 20 days away now. So we can roll in with the team that we're actually going to roll with. Jahlil Okafor was never a part of the plan. Alizé Johnson, it was a great story that we grabbed him when we needed bodies last year. Alizé Johnson got a shot. That's the difference between this team right now going into this year and the team last year. The team last year, we were looking for guys globally. We pulled Mike James out of Russia. We pulled Alize Johnson out of the G League. Like, we were taking guys from anywhere to get minutes, to get boards, to get buckets for us. And we knew at the top, yeah, we have KD, Kyrie, Harden. We're going to be good. These guys that aren't, superstar level players can play. But now we have not necessarily superstar players. We have some guys that are former superstar players in LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap, but other role players that are younger and hungry and ready to go. And training camp is where we'll get to see these guys compete. That's where it all really starts. I'm excited for that. Like, right now, not having the Twitter account sucks. Not being able to really do what we want to do sucks. But the hope is in the next 20 days, Twitter gives us our account back. Hudson gets settled at school. We can start recording in the Bronx and we can do some episodes remote. And then the offseason will be over because the offseason sucks, man. The offseason right now, it is what it is. It's just dragging, and you're just waiting to see the best basketball team in the world on the floor, the Brooklyn Nets. All right, so moving on from that, we have one more roster spot we have one more roster spot than we actually are allotted. Like, we have one more player than we have roster spots. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. A bunch of guys got waived. We got one player too many. But one guy that's not getting waived is one Cam Thomas. And this is where we'll close. Cam Thomas, he's a superstar. This guy's in interviews. This guy is already being pushed to the forefront, and he's already signing deals with Adidas like his idol Kobe did. Kobe's first shoe contract was with Adidas before he ended up going to Nike. I don't know about Adidas. Like, I'm more of a Nike guy for basketball. I know that it's really just like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour tries to make some shoes, and there's some foreign companies that make shoes, but it's really just Nike, Adidas. Can't even say like Reebok. That used to be AI's thing back in the day. But Hudson, do you care that our young man, our 19-year-old rookie, has an Adidas contract? He actually cited Damian Lillard and James Harden as reasons for signing. And he said that he likes, their streetwear, their apparel, their, the Yeezys, some of their clothing and things outside of basketball he likes that he's going to have access to. So cool. We got a superstar in the making right here. This guy's already getting the superstar treatment in the NBA.
I think it's great because it's a company he can forge his own path with, right? Like, Kyrie's at Nike and everyone's at Nike, right? Everyone's at Jordan. Zion's at Jordan. All these young guys going to Nike to Jordan.
Jordan is another one. They're Nike, but Jordan counts as the other basketball shoe.
I think that he's going to be able to make his own name more with Adidas than he would be with one of these bigger brands. I think it would have been the same if he would have signed with Under Armour, but Adidas obviously has more street cred. I to be able to go out and do something like that and to make his name with his own company, I think it gives him a route towards a signature shoe really quick. And I hope it comes. I hope it comes. He has the potential to be a superstar in the making, and now he's going to have the platform to do it. And I'm just so excited to see how he develops in the years he spends with the Nets. I mean, he's only 19 and his potential is just through the roof. I think it's something to watch and to enjoy and to be happy that Sean Marks found us this gem.
All right. One voicemail chat question. So chat, queue up your thoughts, your questions about the Nets, about the podcast, about whatever you'd like, and we'll answer them. And let's see what this guy's talking. I don't have my Bluetooth speaker, so I'm just going to play this from my phone close to the mic and hope that it works. It's not loud enough. Is there a speaker option for this? There we go.
One of the bigger keys.
All right, let's see.
Hey, good evening, y'all. So quick question real quick. Do you think... Hey, good evening, y'all. So quick question real quick. Do you think Steve Nash could actually be one of the bigger keys to us not getting a ring? What do y'all think about that?
Okay. So the question that he asked is, do you think Steve Nash could be one of the bigger reasons that stop us from getting a ring, that we don't win the championship this year?
He's the coach.
Go for it.
He's the reason we get it. He's the reason we don't get it. He is the head coach of our basketball team. He is an integral part of everything we do. Obviously, it's the players on the floor that score the buckets that win the ring, but the coach is just as involved as the players are, and same with Sean Marks. Everyone involved in this team at a high level is going to be a reason we win or don't win a championship. I think that a lot of the weight is on him because he the linchpin in terms of whether the Nets are going to be able to do it or not going to be able to do it, because he is still some sort of a question mark. But at the end of the day, like, everyone's going to, it's not any one person's responsibility. He's got a whole coaching team. There's a whole front office team. There's a whole team on the floor. He's important, but you can't put all of the weight on one person, because that's just not the way basketball works.
When I hear that question, it makes me think the question's more so asking, do we think Steve Nash will get out-coached in the playoffs? Do we think that Steve Nash's coaching in his second year on the job will not be there enough to coach a team through an 82-game season and all the way through the finals? I guess you could say that with a less talented team, with a less deep team. But this team is ridiculous. This roster is ridiculous. They have a chip on their shoulder. They're vengeful, literally looking for revenge from last year. They've gotten better in the offseason. We've got some new blood here to help us out that wasn't here last year. I don't think Steve Nash can stand in the way. You feel me? Like, I don't think Steve Nash is inept. I don't think Steve Nash is clueless. I don't think Steve Nash is in over his head. So to answer that question, no, I think Steve Nash obviously is the right man for the job. He did a pretty good job his first year last year. We could be talking about him in a way different light if Kevin Durant's foot isn't on the three-point line. So, no, I think that focus on Nash is going to go away some this year. I think people are going to really see, like, he's a beautiful mind on the basketball court. He's just transitioning from being a player to a coach and still trying to find his voice and his way. And it takes reps. It takes experience. He's got to know when to call timeout. He's also got to know with this roster, when the sub guys, who's supposed to be coming in, who's supposed to be going out, what rotations. Like, that's a whole nother thing I'm sure we'll get into in the season. So let's go back to the chat. Let's cue some questions up from the chat, and then we'll get out. And I'm trying to scroll back, but as you guys are sending them, I'll hit them. Let's see. I think we answered the one we answered was from UK Nets fans, and then now I'm lost in the chat. Okay, yeah, UK Nets fans again. They said, "What's up with the Nets not announcing Paul Millsap?" And we have a little group chat with like Fireside Nets, UK Nets, Doug Barak, Chris, Matt, those guys, and we were talking about it in there. The Nets haven't given you that official Paul Millsap, like, in the Nets jersey with the graphics yet, because the roster is full. The roster is more than full. The title I wrote is the Nets roster is literally loaded. Like, it's overloaded. What else we got in here? You're hyped for the 2021-22 NBA season, championship year. Keith's drinking Jerry's Kool-Aid. Yeah, I've been drinking Jerry's Kool-Aid since I was like 4 or 5, bros. I'm stuck. It sucks. Let's see. Keith, are you going to try and go to the Giants-Cowboys game in MetLife? I've gone to 2 of those in my history. They're all right, but I'm a Cowboys fan. So, like, if the Cowboys don't win, which actually I'm 2-0. The Cowboys won both of those, so they were fun. But when the Cowboys don't win, that's not fun. And I don't know. It's going to be cold. You can catch me at the Barclays Center. Guillermo writes, big Barclays Center. Yeah. My uncle's got season tickets. Talking Nets, we got a ticket rep. Shout out Riley. Ticket IQ, working with those guys. They help us out. John Boy Media. Maybe we can set up some type of podcast, some type of event where we can invite you guys. We can do a Talking Nets fam event where we do 20, 30 people. We get our own little section, and the tickets are cheaper than they would be on StubHub. Let's see. Who's the final net to get cut, gents? UK Nets fan, appreciate all the questions, bro. I think we did speak on that, and I was looking up, the roster. I actually didn't do that, but I was seeing people say that it would be DeAndre Bembry, but like I said, I think he is a Kyrie guy. They went to the same high school. He's from Newark. Kyrie's from Orange. I think there's something there with that. I don't think they just outright cut him, but got to make cuts. Got to figure it out. Is Marcus Zagorowski, the kid from Creighton, that the point guard from Creighton, is he on the roster? I'm looking at ESPN.
He got a two-way. He got a two-way along with Kessler.
So him and Kessler have a two-way. I'm looking at who it could be. I don't really know. It's coming soon.
On some contracts, but so he's probably going to end up not getting signed. He's going to probably be with the Long Island Nets. Bembry might be an option if there's not that Kyrie connection. As we've seen, the connections are really important. So, it's a really tough question.
Yeah, it's an unknown question right now. It's above my pay grade. I'm not sure what they're thinking or what they're doing with that. But either way, I see y'all in the chat. The league ain't ready. Nets are the favorites, and we just got better. We could win the chip even without Harden, but we need Kyrie to do so. Now that we got Harden on this team, bro, it's always Harden. Here's a question. Why is it suspended? And I feel like if we just keep talking about it, it'll change. Every time the Nets won a game, why is the Talking Nets Twitter account suspended? Every time the Nets won a game, if you followed us on Twitter, we have the same type of celebration stuff after. It don't matter if we're smoking the Pistons pack or we're smoking the Bucks pack tonight. You're going to see it. If it's Kyrie dancing in front of the kids or it's KD on the Warriors dancing in the hallway, you're going to see that video. And that video had Pop Smoke, Dior, as the music. Universal Music Group doesn't like that. They flagged us like 8 times with these stupid DMCA violations that Twitter has cracked down on. There's a lot of people with suspended accounts right now, not just us, but we're working on it. Let's see. What are the chances of the Brooklyn Nets winning it all? What's up, Jared Williams? That's the Yankee guy right there. What are the chances of the Nets winning it all? If I had to put a percentage on it, I'd put it at 80% as of right now. That percentage, that gives me some space to go up because I don't think it's any lower than that. But if these guys in the first couple games, if it's just I just expect this team is so deep. I expect this team to just be chilling on the bench laughing. There were times last year, think about when we played the Sixers last year and one Alizé Johnson was getting at them late in the game and we started to come back and you saw Blake and KD and Kyrie and these guys just laughing on the bench. They didn't even put Kyrie back in that game to potentially win it. I just see a lot of games like that for us. The Nets blow people out in the first half. And then by halfway through the third quarter, we're sitting guys down. Or games where it's we're going to give KD the night off, Harden the night off, Kyrie the night off. And we still go off because we have that much depth and that much talent. All right, couple more questions. Go for it, Hudson.
I was just going to say 70-win season incoming. That's what I'm looking forward to. I think that's going to be the first marker of our regular season. I think we might challenge for the record. I think we might get up there. Maybe we hit 75 wins. I don't know. It feels like ability of this team.
Let's see. What else? Jared, I see Jared said I was dodging the question. I wasn't dodging any questions. I was just saving them for the end. They're always good to just, close out on the end and put you guys questions up here. You think Alizé gets some time in Chicago? I think he does. I'm rooting for him. I mean, think about where he's going. He's going to Chicago after playing with the Nets. He played a little bit higher level basketball over here. How do you pronounce this game? So I was reading something about this guy, Isaiah Cordinier. You know much about Isaiah Cordinier? I don't know much, but I read what I can read online, and I know that the Nets were looking at him, and he was, his prospect, and I don't know where he signed. I think he went elsewhere, or maybe he's not coming here at all. But the Nets are past that. The Nets are past acquiring guys at this point. We are trying to, shrink the roster. We need a defending center. Cam Thomas better than Landry Shamet? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that question. Shout out Landry Shamet and Landry Shamet's cousin. And the video we made last year of what Nets fans say when we were roasting Landry, and then he came out and started actually hooping. I would say right now that Cam Thomas is not better than Landry Shamet just off of NBA experience. Shamet is 24. Cam is 19. And that 5-year gap that they have, Landry Shamet has already got 4 NBA seasons under his belt, so or 3. So I would say that Shamet is better than him, but I know that's not going to take long. I know pretty soon you're going to be like, okay, Cam Thomas is legit. He's a different breed. He's got a killer instinct, and he's not like a average guard. Who's going to have a sneaky underrated season from all the new additions? I don't know who's going to have a sneaky one. I'm actually looking for some guys that were already here to have good seasons, but to give an answer, I most would like Paul Millsap to have a sneaky good season. Like, I hope people are kicking themselves at some point during this season saying, how did we let him sign with the Brooklyn Nets? He still got it. He's still doing it. Like, they're unstoppable. Paul Millsap gave us 20 tonight. Like, weren't expecting that. And obviously Patty Mills. I feel like Patty Mills is the question is, who's going to have a sneaky underrated season? I don't think you can have a sneaky underrated season with the Nets as Patty Mills. He's on everybody's radar. You have an answer for that, Hudson?
Feels like he's one of those perpetually underrated type of guys, though. Patty Mills perpetually underrated. I think Day'Ron Sharpe is going to do well in his role whenever he gets a role. I think that's going to be exciting. People are going to talk about it a lot because he's a rookie, but I think he's going to put up like 5 and 5 a game, and I think that'll be great.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with Patty putting on in the Olympics and KD even talking about him dropping 40 out there, I feel like everybody's looking at Patty Mills like, yo, if he's coming off the bench for the Nets, he's just going to come off the bench and get buckets. I feel like he does get underrated, but he's going to be on everybody's radar with us. The next question is, Sekou going to get a lot of minutes? We were talking about it earlier. We don't know, but good to have him. Good to let him develop on this team, and maybe he turns into something. This is not Detroit. This is not the Pistons, but fingers crossed for the guy. Let's see. UK Nets fan. How much load management are the big three going to get this year? Do you think that gives the likes of Cam and Day'Ron a chance to get good minutes? Absolutely. I expect this to be a fully load managed year. We have so much depth for a reason. We have so many scorers for a reason. We have so many guys that can do multiple things for a reason. This team is built for the long haul. It's built for the long run. Hudson, you can add your answers. I don't have to answer the question solo. If you got anything to add, go for it.
Nah, I'm just worried about me cutting out. But no, I think that because of the load management, that's why we picked up someone like Cam Thomas, who's a pure scorer. Why else would we need that? We don't really need that kind of player unless we're expecting load management from either of our guards. So I think it's something like that. Like, look at what the moves the Nets are making and what like they're aimed at doing. And I think especially with someone like Cam Thomas, you're going to see a lot of that. Him stepping in load management games, really asserting himself when there aren't these other superstars on the floor and showing that he's worth more minutes.
Here's another question. How key do you think Kyle Korver will be in Joe Harris's development? Joe Harris is already developed. The thing about Joe Harris is this.
Joe Harris is 30 years old. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like Joe Harris is developed. I think Kyle Korver will help in Cam Thomas's development. I think Kyle Korver might help Joe Harris grow some. And when I say grow some, I mean grow from his fail last year, from his low moment in his career to where I think this year he can come back and have some shining moments and maybe even in a like crucial playoff game, like hit a game winner or give us 25 in a game that we really need. I think Kyle Korver, being on this Nets coaching staff and sharing his insight, his wisdom from being a similar type player and playing with other superstars is going to be able to help Joe Harris. But Joe Harris is already developed. Let's see. Last question. Edward. This is a good last one. Obviously, we're biased, but Edward asks, who is the biggest threat to the Nets? You can say a team, Hudson. I'll say a team, and then you can say a team. I'll say a team. If you don't have two teams, just say one, and I can go off of what you said.
My first team is the Bucks. I'm taking that away from you. The Milwaukee Bucks.
Obvious pick, the Milwaukee Bucks. Why? Why are they a threat to the Brooklyn Nets?
I mean, we saw it last year. It was a depleted Nets team, but the Bucks are the reigning champs. They're playing on a different level now. They got the championship confidence. Giannis, if he can hit the three, which he can sometimes, it makes that team absolutely lethal. And their secondary pieces can score at a rate that can keep up with the Nets. So they're definitely a team that, in terms of teams that the Nets are guaranteed to run up against, they're on that list. And it's never a cakewalk, especially with the Bucks and the way that they're built now that they got Budenholzer locked up. Everyone's locked up. It's exciting. It's going to be a great matchup, but definitely if you're going to be wary about any team in the Eastern Conference, I think they're number one.
I'm going to say the Heat. The Heat actually made a ton of moves. The Heat actually took PJ Tucker away from the Bucks, and you guys all remember PJ Tucker, office linebacker, hacking KD and giving us trouble with him checking KD, but not really even checking KD, him guarding KD and fouling KD. But they've got some other weapons. Kyle Lowry. Who did they pick somebody else up that I'm blanking on? They have Victor Oladipo, obviously Butler, Bam, Tyler Hero. Like they're the Heat too. Like they're a good organization. They have a good front office and a good head coach. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna probably play us tough. Other than that, I don't have another team in the East, so I'm not gonna throw out the Lakers or any of the teams from the West. That's all I've got. Honestly, it's time to wrap this up. Look at that. We stretched this pod to 45 minutes and 50 minutes on YouTube plus. And that's solid because, like I said, we were grasping for things to talk about, and we were able to talk about our Brooklyn Nets, Talking Nets, episode 123 in the books. Make sure you follow us. You can't follow us on Twitter. They're hating. They don't want to see us be great. But follow us on Instagram. I will start kicking the Instagram up once we get into training camp. I just hate the rat race of like Nets accounts all posting the same things and reposting the same things and stealing content. I just refuse to be in that. Once we actually have basketball, Hudson and I will make our own original content and original videos, and you'll see them on Instagram. So follow us there. You're probably already subscribed to the podcast, but tell a friend to subscribe. If you're subscribed to YouTube, thanks. We could use some more subscribers there. Tell a friend to subscribe. Rate the pod and review 5 stars. I have no idea how many ratings we have. I know it's over 100, but we got to build that up as we get back in the season. If you like the podcast, go ahead and write a review. Check us out at shop.johnboymedia.com. Go to podcast merch, hit Talking Nets, buy some swag, call the voicemail. You could be heard. We only got one voicemail, but honestly, it's been killed because we can't tweet out from Talking Nets. Call the voicemail, 201-870-0461. We'll get the account back. We got 19 days until training camp opens, and then like 24 days until the first preseason game, Lakers Nets, and we'll be right back into talking about actual basketball and what's going on with our team and what we can expect and what we like and what we can look forward to. Hudson Flynn, do you have anything else for the good people of Talking Nets?
Nah, sign it off.
That's all we've got. Football starts tonight. Baseball is getting into the thick of it. Basketball is on the way. The NBA is king. The NBA leads and everyone follows. You know I used to say that. I still believe that. And I can't wait to get back in the Barclays Center with everybody saying, let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Brooklyn. And that's the show. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one, which will probably be next Thursday. Hopefully we get the account back. Subscribe, click like, send the link to a friend. Check out some of our older videos. Keith McPherson, Hudson Flynn. We out.